Fallout Equestria Survivor's Guild, Chapter 10, Part 3.
You're kidding. You actually agreed to this experiment?
Ark asked in shock as I met up with the others.
Are you crazy? This place is wrong. What they're doing isn't ethical.
I said with a shake of my head.
It was the only way to get the Overmare to agree to release the clones. But they're just clones. They're not even the same as the original, are they?
Ark pointed out.
They weren't even created the same as other ponies. Neither were the ones from Project Legacy,
I pointed out.
They were able to save Equestria anyway. Being born through science or magic instead of the natural way doesn't make you any less of a pony. I agree with Scootaloo on this one,
Star said.
I don't necessarily agree with how she went about doing it, but we are under a moral obligation to help all life forms, regardless of birth. I suppose you're right. I mean, it feels a little weird to me,
Ark commented. I was about to say something else when we heard the sound of hooves approaching our group, and we turned to look at Reticle.
Scootaloo, I need you to accompany me to my quarters,
Reticle said, which surprised me a little bit.
Why? What's going on? If Scootaloo goes, we all go.
Serenity spoke up, making the Enclave General look at the Pegasus filly. Her face actually softened a little bit when she saw her.
It's for her ears only, I'm afraid, little one,
she said, and she looked at the filly for a long moment. I swear I saw a tear in her eye.
I promise that she will not be harmed. I'm not going until I know what's going on,
I said with a tone of finality.
Why do you want me to go with you? Well, there's some pony out onto the radio who wants to speak with you, and only you,
Reticle said as the sternness creeped back into her voice.
Come with me, please.
I knew she couldn't force me to go, but I still had to admit I was curious.
Alright, I'll come with you, but I want 2 of my friends to accompany us,
I said as Reticle started to protest, and I added.
They are to wait outside, and I'm not going in unarmed. Is that fair?
Reticle paused for a moment before nodding.
Alright, I can accept that.
And with me, Reticle, Vanilla, and Ark, we started to make our way towards Reticle's quarters. I took in a deep breath as she opened the door, and Vanilla and Ark took their spots next to it, and I walked inside. Seated onto the table was an old radio with military markings on it. I picked up the transmitter and took in a deep breath before speaking into it.
This is Scootaloo Dash. I was told that some pony wanted to speak with me. Hello, Scootaloo,
a familiar mare's voice said onto the other side of the radio.
It's a pleasure to finally speak with such a famous pony.
I was talking with President Winterbreeze herself. I was talking with President Winterbreeze herself. I looked behind me at Reticle, who just shook her head. I turned back to the radio and started to speak into it again.
Well, I have to say, this was unexpected, Madam President. Please, call me Winter. There is no need for such formality here,
Winterbreeze said.
I must say, I was disappointed to hear that you escaped from Stable 48. I was so looking forward to meeting you. Well, I'm sorry for disappointing you,
I said. I wasn't really sure what to make of what she was saying. I mean, she almost sounded polite.
So, how'd you know I was here? My dear, we may have lost our head of intelligence, but I have ponies everywhere,
Winter said, and that sent a chill up my spine.
There is very little you can do that will surprise me. You have a spy then? Well, who is it? That would be telling,
the mare chuckled.
What's your game, Winter? Why did you want to talk with me so badly?
I asked. It was time to get some answers out of her.
I want to make you a deal,
Winterbreeze said in a calm voice.
I have it in my power to pardon your crimes against the Enclave. I will do so, but in exchange, you must publicly denounce the new Canterlot Republic and its allies along with the Dashites. You will be allowed to live the rest of your life in Enclave territory with no fear of retribution for your crimes from 200 years ago. My only crime was trying to do what was right,
I spat.
You may dress up your new Enclave with fancy words and promises, but I can see right through you, Winterbreeze. You want power, and you're willing to step on as many ponies as you can get to it. You're no better than the Enclave of the past. The only difference is you don't shoot ponies. You offer them a friendly smile and help, and then you take away the one thing that's most precious to them: freedom.
There was a long pause, and for a moment, I thought Winterbreeze had disconnected on me the moment I turned her down. I had no idea what to expect, but I didn't think I was gonna like it.
You don't know me, or the Enclave at all, Scootaloo.
Winterbreeze said.
Even after the actions of ponies like Little Pip, Blackjack, Ruby Starlight, and others, this is still a broken and dead world. We are the best chance Equestria has at stability. I offered you a chance to become part of that. I cannot promise the safety of yourself or your friends if you continue this path. Yeah, and how many of your subjects know what you're really after?
I said and looked back at Reticle before whispering.
I know you want Protocol Zeta. I don't know why, but you're playing with something more dangerous than you understand. I understand quite perfectly,
Winterbreeze answered.
And things will not change just because of what you tell me. Protocol Zeta is needed to create the new Equestria. That project is only going to create death and destruction. Please, listen to me.
I said pleadingly.
Stop pursuing Protocol Zeta. It's a matter of life and death. I'm sorry, Scootaloo, but I simply can't do that,
Winterbreeze said, and there was almost a hint of regret in her voice, and that was odd.
I understand your reservations, and I hope that someday you and I can work together towards a better Equestria.
With that, there was a click and silence onto the radio.
Why did she call you?
I asked as I turned to look at Reticle.
Like I said, she wanted to talk to you,
Reticle said with a shrug.
I'm the only pony in this place with access to her personal radio frequency, so she had to call me, I guess. Are you really interested in helping Equestria, or is that a load of horse apples being spun over by the Overmare?
Reticle paused for a long moment and sighed.
Yeah, I don't really agree with Winterbreeze's methods, but I can understand her ideals. I mean, I'm willing to lend a hoof to the Alliance as needed.
I smiled a little and offered Reticle a hoof.
Well, thank you for that. It means a lot that we have you on our side.
Reticle hesitated a moment, but shook my hoof with a smile.
You're welcome. I just hope that we can do something to create a real change in Equestria. Me too, Reticle. Me too.
As we headed back to the atrium, we found the rest of the group talking with a few more ponies. Blue was there, obviously, but there was also a small green earth pony filly who was talking with Serenity and Pureheart, and a rough-looking mare covered in scars that was just kind of standing off to the side.
Happy Smiles and Bloodheart,
Reticle said as she nodded to the two other ponies.
Two more of our enhanced ponies. We have a fifth one, but I'm not sure where he went off to. It's okay. I'm sure that's enough,
I said as Serenity noticed us and waved.
Do you know her well?
Reticle asked as she looked at the filly.
Well, enough. She's granddaughter about 7 times removed, I think,
I said with a light smirk, and Reticle looked at me surprised.
What? I knew her parents,
Reticle said, which surprised me.
Harmony and Highwind. We went to the War Academy together, and I heard about Harmony being pregnant while she was under Marigold's command. The filly, she just looks so much like her mother. Wait, so what were they like?
I asked, and then held up a hoof.
Wait, hang on. You should tell Serenity. She never really got to know them. I know that if there was some pony who could tell me about mine, I would want to know. Okay,
Reticle said with a nod, and I waved to Serenity to come join us.
Hey Scootaloo, hey Reticle.
Serenity said with a smile as she looked at the older Pegasus.
What's going on? Serenity, right?
Reticle asked, and Serenity nodded.
I need to tell you some things about your birth parents. You knew my birth parents?
Serenity asked, which caught Vanilla's attention as she trotted over to us.
What were they like? They were brave and smart and loyalty to a fault,
Reticle said with a sad smile.
But ultimately, they were kind, and they were good ponies who got caught up in a system that didn't really help them. Really, they were lucky to be able to serve together under the same general, but for some reason, Winterbreeze herself made sure that they were given the same assignment.
Wait, Winterbreeze intervened on Serenity's parents' behalf? Okay, that was weird. Why would she do that?
They did their best to help wherever they could,
Reticle continued.
Your mom, she didn't really like to fight. She wanted to be a field medic so she could get out there and help ponies onto the battlefield. The last time I saw them after your conception, they were excited at the prospect of having a filly, or colt even, if it was going to be hard on them. They loved you very much, Serenity, even before you were born.
Serenity listened to every word she said and started to cry a little. I started to cry at the same time. They genuinely did sound like good ponies who had touched the life of this general. I just wish that I could have met them. I looked at Vanilla and she nodded a little as we both hugged Serenity. She smiled a little as she wiped the tears with her hoof.
Thank you, Reticle. That really means a lot,
she said.
I wish I could have known them. You're welcome, kid. I'm sure that they would be proud of you.
Reticle said with a nod before heading off.
Just like we are,
Vanilla said as we released the filly.
Now, go back to your friends. We can talk to you later.
I smiled as Serenity headed back to Pure Heart in happy smiles. I mostly spent the next little while talking with the others, and I had been curious about Nomad City, so I talked with Star and Jade about that mostly. The two had been all over Equestria together, and there was even talk about someday maybe taking trips into Zebrica and the Dragonlands if they could get it to work out with the locals. After a while, Silver Lining approached me with some paper and her telekinetic grip.
Alright, we finished the tests. And? Well, given you're relatively untouched by radiation, and you're in good shape for a 250-year-old mare, by the way,
she added with a light chuckle.
Anyway, you're compatible for enhancement using Rainbow Dash's DNA. Wait, really?
I asked and she nodded.
Okay, so, how do we do this? Well, it's a little late for the procedure now since you have to not eat. Just come back to Whitehome tomorrow and we'll take care of it,
Silver Lining said with a reassuring smile.
And then we'll keep our end of the deal, of course. Of course,
I said with a nod.
Thank you again.
She nodded and returned to her office. I couldn't help but be a little bit excited by the prospect now. It was weird in a way, and I kind of wondered what this would mean for how I was related to Rainbow Dash. I mean, this whole process raised a lot of questions. I just shrugged and went back to talking with the others.